Simon Narode and Ricky Gao sitting at 9-2-0 and 8-0-3.
Yeah, we brought you this matchup. There's a lot of good matchups happening this round, but we haven't seen either of these players on stream yet, and we have seen Sylveon, but we haven't seen Simon's exact list. He does play a little bit of a different list. Pablo Meza is also playing this. They play a 1-1 Gardevoir.
Or a 1-0-1 Gardevoir with one rare candy in the whole list. So it's just to be able to use the GX attack to get more resources back. But we'll see how that pays off. It's definitely an interesting amount of cards to put in for a Stage 2 line.
I think it is. It does seem pretty spicy, for sure. You're going to get the 10 cards back with Gardevoir's GX attack, which I gotta imagine is probably the primary usage of the tech line in the deck.
Yes.
So that just gives more resources to work with, more hammers, more flare grunts.
I get to shuffle in 3 flare grunts and 4 hammers and 2 Team Rocket's handiworks and 4 puzzles, and we're good to go again.
Yes.
So.
Also, I mean, Gardevoir's a good attacker, so it's an efficient attacker. It doesn't even take much to get it going. So that can also be a factor if your opponent's playing a deck that stacks up a lot of energy against you, such as Volcanion.
Yeah.
Even Lucario gets to the 3 energy point.
Yep. For those of you who know Simon, you can all give him a hard time for not playing Secret Rare Fairy Energy. He likes to bling out his decks as much as possible. He does choose certain variants of things, so you'll notice he likes the full art cards more than the hyper rares. So all of his EXs and GXs I expect to be full art. And usually all of his energies are as secret rare as you can possibly get them. He just has some normal foils.
I remember that from way back when he got second in Nats.
Yeah, it's up second, third, something. He's up there.
Like that. And that was kind of like his big performance where he got his reputation and his name as a good player from. I remember his plasma deck.
Yep.
Just so blinged out.
I remember the very first tournament I played in when I started playing as a first-year master. And I played against Simon round 1 with a Blastoise deck that, it was Blastoise with Black Kira, and I was running suboptimal lines of things because I didn't have all of the cards for the deck, and I just kind of went off and killed him, and he was really upset about it.
Aww.
And then he ended up top 8ing anyway, and that was the day he got his World's Invite.
Oh, wow. So it ended up being okay.
So it ended up being okay.
Your fault
it wasn't my fault that he missed it. But.
There you go. So Ricky has got 2 energies on a Buzzwole here, and he's going to play an N, kind of just disrupt Simon's hand a little bit. N is going to be his best friend in this matchup after all those magical ribbons. So I don't know, using one this early is kind of interesting because he's going to want to play them every turn. But of course, without VS Seeker in the format, it's not really possible.
Yeah. You do have Palpad, and if you actually run multiple Lucamines, you can go infinite.
Oh, Ricky doesn't play Palpad.
But I don't think he doesn't. But it's in the format.
Yeah.
It's possible.
He could have played it, but he's not playing a Palpad.
He opted to not tech Palpad double Lucamine in for the Sylveon matchup.
He didn't. Yeah. He might regret that during this game, but. So yeah, we have a couple of Sylveon decks still fighting it out for the top 8. Gonna set up a backup Remoraid just in case, I guess.
Yep.
This one goes down, sure, why not?
He's kind of expecting the first one to go down. He knows he's going to need to draw a lot of cards in this matchup to try to get ahead. And he already has 2 threats really kind of set up. Or his 1 threat definitely set up and 1 that's in the working. And he's kind of expecting this first Remoraid to just bite the bullet.
Yeah, Simon is definitely not all about attacking with this deck. That's not going to be his main strategy. But it could happen that he could decide to take a prize. If this Remoraid was still the only one on board and it was going to cut off Ricky's draw for the rest of the game, yeah, I think he would go for the knockout. But yeah, now with the second one, there's not even a reason to.
Yep, exactly. So we see Fairy Energy on Eevee. Use his Energy Evolution to pull out another Sylveon GX. That combination of 2 cards is so good.
Very good, definitely.
So good.
Yeah, and although there are some Sylveon here, there are also a fair amount of good players playing Sylveon that did not make day 2 with it. Like,
yes.
I believe Igor Costa played it, Jimmy Pendarvis played it, Azul played Bulu.
I think Azul played, played Kikabulu.
Yeah, but so there was some Sylveon that didn't really work out for some players, but Also didn't have the same list. I know that their lists were different, so the difference could be this Gardevoir just really doing work.
Yeah, the Gardevoir. There's also a counter catcher in Simon's list, which I think the other list didn't run. Lots of hammers, 6 hammers total, 4 crushing and 2 enhanced.
And that's pretty standard for Sylveon, since the goal is to disrupt the opponent's game plan.
There's a Plumeria in there.
That's interesting.
That's a fun one. I love me Plumeria. Ooh, we do see a hyper rare, so the very shiny Sylveon.
Alright, Pokemon, I get attention. I like attention.
Yeah, Plumeria, discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon.
Any Pokemon, any
doesn't
energy.
have to be the active, so it's not like Team Flare Ground.
Also doesn't have to be a special energy as well, so it's a guaranteed enhanced hammer.
And with the Gardevoir, it's not like you can't get those 2 cards you discarded back. So.
Yeah. Simon being a local player that has kind of a name to him. We have a handful on the West Coast, and especially out of the Portland area. Things like Sam Ho, Jacob Van Wagner, and Simon are kind of the 3 big ones that come to mind.
Okay, Pokemon players. The room, I have 2 more champions, or a champion and a finalist to announce for the video game
so going for a Buzzwole here.
Our runner-up.
Basically, what Ricky wants to do is just attach energy every turn. I mean, there's not too much else he can do about it. He just wants to make sure, try to get these energies to stick as best as he can.
Regional champion is Joshua Stewart.
Is that juniors?
I think so.
I think juniors might be over. And we've got an N.
I think that's the VGC finals is what it was.
Oh, VGC.
Yep. Which I believe is also being streamed for those of you who like the VGC aspect.
So he's going to replace that Brooklyn Hill with a Parallel City, so Simon can only bench 1 more Pokemon, and...
Yeah, it's kind of rough for Simon.
The N here? Is that what's going on? Yeah, he's playing an N. There it is right next to the Remoraid. So there's N number 2.
Yes.
This strategy is going to come to an end pretty soon. And there's going to be just magical ribbon cards in Simon's
cards on the
hand.
floor.
Whoops.
I expect that we're going to take a minute to just make sure there's no cards that got left behind. VGC Craigasm.
But yeah, going to eventually, as I was saying, I think, is that Simon's just going to get a handful of magical ribbon cards, and there's going to be a point where Ricky can't do anything about it.
Yep. I agree, and it's just going to be a matter of whether or not Ricky can get enough pressure and start taking prizes early enough in the game before Simon can start disrupting it.
Yes. And if he can get a bunch of energy on the board, that just kind of like safeguards him against those hammers and Team Flare Grunts. So this Buzzwole already has 3 attachments.
Yeah, lots of energies. This Remoraid is going to be able to switch on back. Buzzwole does a lot of damage, though. It'll Knuckle Impact, can also Absorption GX.
Is Absorption a knockout at this point? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I believe it is.
I was just literally...
Had to get to the point of counting?
I was just counting that, yeah. But it is a knockout. That's so much damage.
Yeah. But I don't have to worry about it once.
It's 40 for each of your remaining prize cards, so you can really only do that at the beginning of the game.
If Simon can hit a DCE, like Plea GXs and stuff aren't terrible, but he's gonna go on the disruption
not great
plan.
in this situation, but
we're gonna enhance hammer one of the energies. We're gonna Team Flare Grunt the other energy.
that was a big knockout.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
There was 5 energies on that Buzzwole.
yeah. And putting extra energies on your attacker is a good strategy from Ricky as well, because that way, if Simon does hit a hammer, if he does hit a Team Flare Grunt, you had that extra energy, so it's not relevant. So, what's that hyper rare card? I'm afraid I just can't tell. It's a Sylveon.
Yeah, it is Sylveon. It is the only GXs he runs outside of the Gardevoir, and the Gardevoir would be going on the Ralts if he had it.
Yep.
So he's running 2 of the full arts and 1 hyper rare Sylveon in his list.
Okay.
Probably decided that he wanted one more or something in last minute and had somebody let him loan it to him.
The one hyper rare is for good luck.
Yeah, good luck, hyper rare.
As long as they're not in the same sleeves, if they're in the same sleeves, we'll take a look at it. But I have it here. But, as long as they're different sleeves, I can do care of this.
There's artillery coming down on the field, so making Ricky pretty resistant to N and other disruption cards. I mean, Simon only plays one N, so that's not going to be...
Yeah, it's not really a card Simon likes. You really want to play because you're always going to be behind on prizes in this matchup because your game plan is typically to deck out your opponent. And if you're behind on prizes and then you N, your opponent's going to put more cards from their hand into their deck and it's going to make their deck thicker, which is not what you want to be doing.
Right. Yeah, you definitely don't want to get in a situation where you're adding cards to their deck for them, as Sylveon.
Exactly.
We had one reverse follow Carlos City. Other than that, there was no reverse follow. It was all shiny.
Yep, and this is the third N, so pretty sure that's just the last N from Ricky.
It worked. But yeah, so we see an Abyssal Hand. Drawing a couple cards.
Got a strong there, but I think that Buzzwole has all the energy that it needs. So I definitely like this strategy from Ricky. Just kind of like going all in on one attacker, not trying to spread out his resources because that's really.
We're gonna play some Crushing Hammers.
You want to do
Tails on that one. See if we hit heads on this one. See if 50-50 works as normal. All right, we're gonna search for this dice now. Let's try that again. That one does take off an energy. We're gonna Flare Grunt another one away. I don't want you having energies. So many.
So now because all of the energies were stacked on that one Buzzwole, Simon just has to play multiple removal cards targeted at the Buzzwole. Whereas if he just had only the amount of energy needed for the attack, and started spreading out his energies, it would have been a lot more devastating. So now this Buzzwole is still only one attachment away from attacking.
Yep,
instead
absolutely.
of 2 or 3.
Right. Yeah, so we just see Simon's just gonna ribbon. His hand doesn't do a whole lot, so he's gonna find probably just a little bit more disruption. Like if he can get this Buzzwole down to not having any energy, he's blown up a lot of energy so far this game. And
yeah, he definitely has.
Ricky only has 14 energy in the deck. There's 2 on the field. We just saw at least 2 hit the bed. I believe he blew up 2 the previous turn. So I think there's only like 5 or 6 energies left, maybe less.
Yeah, I don't see Ricky being able to keep up this onslaught for the whole rest of the game. But here's a strong, so he has another attack this turn.
He can 120 currently with the Buzzwole.
The thing is, he has to get his resources just to last the whole game while they're being destroyed, while they're being taken off the board prematurely.
Yep.
Although he takes another 2 prizes here, so...
Yeah, and now Simon's not in a good position.
It could be so easy for him to come back into it, though.
Yeah, it looks like on his last Magical Ribbon, he grabbed Rare Candy Gardevoir. Yep. And we do see that come down.
Exactly. There's that Guardian.
And then he has an N, so he's going to attempt to end his opponent down to 1. Probably attach at least a energy here.
He's going to end him to 2.
Oh yes, end to 2.
But he's also got Abyssal Hand set up, so he's going to be able to draw back from that anyway. Simon's really just going to have to remove this energy.
Yeah, he's counting a little bit.
An Enhanced Hammer would be good. He's a max potion.
Yep.
Make sure that Ricky is not going to get the KO on this Gardevoir next turn.
Yep.
He's going to 0-6. Yeah, so he's just going to go with the...
Flare Grunt?
No,
0-6 is
0-6. Yeah, right?
That's a standard
Grunt?
card.
It is.
So that is not a standard card.
Whoops.
I'm gonna go with Team Flare Grunt.
So it's Team Flare Grunt. Same thing.
Yep.
He removed a strong energy with the correct supporter for the format.
Yeah, he opted to actually attack for damage there, saying this Gardevoir is gonna put in work.
Yeah, he wants to take that threat off the board because he's realized that he probably can't remove all those energies.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I'm just going to KO it in that case. Zero sick, I can see. Press F for zero sick. This is the first standard regionals I've commentated. I'm used to commentating expanded. I'm surprised they haven't said any other expanded cards, actually. So
yes, it is a Guardy at the active.
Confirmed Guardy.
It's the only Guardy on the deck. Just the one. So we're probably going to see a max potion here, I think. And then attaching an energy. And then it wouldn't surprise me if he shuffles in 10 cards here after ending.
Yes. So he is kind of doing the opposite strategy of, yeah, he's adding more cards to Ricky's deck, but it's a desperate situation. He's got to do it.
Yeah, he's low on cards. This actually puts him up to 6 cards versus 2, the good card advantage. Because if Simon can turn the corner and actually stabilize, because he's a little behind here. But if once he stabilizes, he will be good to go for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Twitch chat MVP.
Of course. Every time. And then he's going to probably hit into this Buzzwole here. I mean, no magical ribbon to be found, but I mean, Ricky can't really take the KO on this Gardevoir. So if one Gardevoir can solo Ricky's entire deck,
it's possible though, because like between how many max potions he has and like puzzle times getting it back and while blowing up the energies, just making it really awkward for the Buzzwoles, like it's possible that he can just
it could happen.
Keep attaching energies, and he's just going to hit it really hard he's going to 2-shot it, and the Buzzwoles have to, 5-shot it. Yeah. So he's currently winning that race.
Yeah, I mean, it seems dire. This seems like a bad situation, just at a quick glance, but
I don't think it's as bad as it looks. I think Simon knows that, there's no way for Ricky to one-shot the Gardevoir out of nowhere.
Man, someone's got food over here and it smells so good. I'm so hungry. Where is that food? Bring it here. So yeah, Ricky there's not too much he can do. He's not really in control of this situation. Yep, just gonna hit in for 50. Not ideal, but it's his only choice. Yep. And there's a hammer, so yeah, if Simon can keep hitting with this.
And Simon says, I want the one on the bench because this front one's going to go down.
Yeah. Removing the energy and smacking with my Gardevoir.
Attach.
Ooh. Oh man. We've got to attach in a secret spring.
He needs to attach there so that way he can knock it out because otherwise he's 10 short.
For sure, for sure.
He can put it to 180 without the energy.
Knocking out is definitely better than not knocking it out. That's for sure.
He has the Eevee in hand, so he's not really worried about it. Yeah, and then he actually has 2 puzzles in hand, it looks like. So he might grab another Crushing Hammer and an energy off this, and then immediately attach the Sylveon. Instead, he just says, you know what? I'm just going to knock it out.
He's going to save it for next turn. He knows all the ends are gone. So he's like, oh, well, next turn I'm going to puzzles for whatever I might need in that situation.
Yeah. If he knocks it out my Gardevoir, I can start picking up cards. But yeah, the game's actually, this is very interesting mechanics in this game because normally the Sylveon deck really doesn't want to be attacking and taking prizes.
Right.
But Simon's kind of recognized I have to be on the aggressive game plan here to be able to stabilize. And it is working currently. It looks like he's starting to turn that corner.
The Buzzwole can't deal with one Guardy.
Yeah.
It's super interesting. I love the Gardevoir line in this deck.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I really like it.
Amazing. It's so creative. It's not a Gardevoir deck. I mean, of course, we're used to seeing Guardy played. But we're in a deck completely based around it, using it as an attacker, just as the main attacker. Yeah, that's normal. But here we go in a Sylveon deck, kind of making it more of a toolbox.
It's a backup attacker if you have to attack with stuff in weird circumstances, because usually it's just a support to get more cards and resources. But in this case, he's just you know what? This is going to deal a bunch of damage to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what Sylveon was lacking, right? It had no threat. I mean, if your main strategy is Sylveon was failing for some reason, you couldn't control the energy, couldn't control the board, you were kind of just sunk, but now this is a bit of a backup strategy. And what is going on here? Sudowoodo.
Nice.
From Ricky.
Good old Sudowoodo. I can pull that up for us here.
Yeah, I actually didn't even notice that in his deck list.
Yeah, it's a good tech card. Has weird mechanics with bench space. And I actually believe the one he is running is the Watch and Learn.
Yeah, Watch and Learn. I was going to say, it's not the Roadblock Sudowoodo. It's definitely he gets to use the last attack his opponent used as Sudowoodo's attack. Alright, so updating that card image. Sudowoodo was big a couple tournaments ago, kind of faded out of most decks, but here we see it doing some work for Ricky.
Yeah, that's going to be a threat, because it means it can use Gardevoir's attack right back at it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, Sudowoodo doing Infinite Force.
Infinite Force Sudowoodo.
Oh, yeah.
PogChamp.
He's going to have to get this Remoraid out of the active, though.
Yeah.
But this is going to be very sneaky.
And he does have a Guzma, so next turn he'll be able to, because he needs a second energy anyway on it, so he'll actually be able to kind of do it next turn.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's interesting that he didn't promote the Buzzwole with the Floatstone at the beginning of the turn.
One of the things, so
sure
I don't
why.
think that Simon has played his Guzma yet. If he does have a Guzma in the discard, he can actually, if he wanted to, could use his 2 puzzles and get the Guzma, and then Guzma up the Sudowoodo and just knock it out before that can happen, and that puts him in such a good position. We see a Gladian pickup for Simon for the turn. He's going to look through his discard and figure out, what options do I have? He has a lot of them. Things like max potions. We haven't seen an Acerola yet, I don't think, Jack, which isn't actually really good for him because he only has the 1 rare candy.
Yeah.
So if he picks up Acerola, he also has to pick up the rare candy as well.
He won't be able to play that Gardevoir back down. But he's definitely got to be threatened by the Sudowoodo and trying to think of a way to deal with it.
But yeah, so we see the Plumerina. Discards a Gladian, what appears to be a Sylveon. We're gonna take that energy away.
Yeah, another thing that Simon can do is just not use Infinite Force, because then Sudowoodo would not be able to use Watch and Learn to copy
If he instead chooses to take 10 cards and shuffle them back into his deck this turn, because the Octilleries are kind of stuck there, I don't think Ricky has very many cards left in his deck.
Yeah, it's tough to tell, but he does have a huge discard.
Like, if you look how big his discard is, like, there can't be that many cards in his deck. I'd probably guess about 10.
Puzzles for a max potion and a field blower, I think. They're also gold, it's hard to tell.
I think he's field blowing now, and then he's going to be puzzling.
Yeah. I wonder how many Floatstones Ricky actually has left. He plays 3. This is an interesting game right now.
Yeah. Very, very good game. Very back and forth, which is good. I like how Simon's game plan in the early game was, I'm going to deny resources as much as I can until the point where I need to start turning a corner. Recognizing.
I think he did just play an end, because I think he played 2 supporters. Because Plumeria is a supporter.
Yes, it is.
I'll go stop it.
Yep. right. So the judge has been informed. Simon was definitely just kind of like, yeah, nope, I'm pretty sure I just did that.
Yep.
So we will probably see a game loss on Simon's side just because the game state is now irreversible because they've shuffled their hands in.
We tried to stop it as soon as we could, but at least we got it a little bit sooner than the last one.
Yes. So most likely a game loss. We're going to wait for them to pick up their cards as soonly that they do.
Oh man, that is so unfortunate. Not really used to playing Plumeria. It's these like one of like niche effect supporters that are getting people with the double effect here. It might be a double game loss.
I don't think it'll be a double game loss.
It's possible. Neither player caught it. The table judge
on both sides because they both shuffled their hands in.
They both
Yes,
shuffled their hands in.
It might be.
There actually is a table judge there for this match who also didn't catch this.
Table judge,
Table judge, please.
Table judge, baby rage.
It's a complicated game though. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's all right. But we got a judge. They're looking over it. They're figuring out exactly what they're gonna do, and as soon as we have the ruling on how they're gonna rule this, we will see.
All right, so we will see what happens here. Stay tuned. I've got some donuts here.
We do have donuts.
Kinda
In
wanna
case
eat
any
these
of you
donuts.
have ever come visit Portland,
Show the donuts. Show donuts.
you all should go to Voodoo Donuts. It is the best donut
Give
place.
them a real promo real quick.
So Voodoo Donuts.
Free advertising.
Yeah, look at these donuts
No,
here.
but these look amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna
Show
do one of
food.
these.
Show food.
They are fantastic. We'll go this way. There you go. Boom, donuts. There are 2 locations in Portland, and they actually recently, like within the last year, opened a location in Denver.
Little did you guys know, but Josh is actually sponsored by Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah, little did you know, no.
No, but seriously, we'll wait for this game to continue, and we're gonna eat our donuts. But we'll be right back. Just hang tight. It should be resolved soon.
Yes.
Okay, so they're scooping up their cards here, and looks like I could go get a confirmation on the ruling and see what's happening here. Let me just go double check that, and I'll be right back for you guys. Okay, so I have just received confirmation from the head judge that it was a double game loss for both players. So now this is a one-game match, and whoever wins here is the winner of the series. So it is down to the wire. They have one chance, one game. I'm not sure if they're getting a time extension. Yeah, I think they haven't decided if they're getting a time extension yet, but they got a double game loss.
Okay.
I think they're really cool. If you notice those baseball shirts.
Yeah, so the thing with the double game losses is how that works is because the game state is irreversible for both players, it's not like one player made an irreversible board state on one side, happened on both. You have to punish both players because it's both players' jobs to make sure that things like that don't happen.
It's like the cream filling.
Perfect. So they have about a 1 minute time extension.
Only 1 minute.
But with that, I believe my timer was actually a minute ahead, so I think our clock is still on the dot.
Probably.
So we're going to just let it be. And they're going to start off in game 3-ish. And we're going to go with that. But yeah, we see Simon leading off with the Eevee. He's going to evolve it to Sylveon very quickly. No magical ribbon for him on this turn, as it's turn 1. You cannot attack.
Right.
But having stage 1s on turn 1 is kind of busted.
I'm sure he would love to attack. I'm sure he would love to magical ribbon turn 1.
Yes. Can you imagine if the rules were back that way to where you can magical ribbon on turn 1?
I don't want to imagine that.
That'd be awful.
Sylveon would be so much more busted than it already is. So good. We're going to fix those prizes as well because we are now in a new game.
All right. Now that kerfluffle has been solved. It's a funny word. There's a lot riding on this game, and that's a really disappointing conclusion to the last game, honestly.
Yeah.
I really wanted to know what was going to happen.
It was very, very close. It was very close. I think Simon was still in a better position than... Like, Ricky was just so out of so much resources. Like, he didn't have much that he could have done, I don't think. But I think Simon was going to take that anyway. And this is a pretty favored matchup for Simon, I believe.
Yeah.
I am told that means it is
this game could go a lot better.
on your phone. Catching signing
He's not double support.
Come over here. Make sure you get checked in. There's a beautiful, lovely Bulbasaur plush.
It's the stream jitters.
Load up that Pokemon.
Everyone messes up on stream. Casters mess up. Judges mess up. Players mess up.
There's a lot of pressure on
It's the
stream.
stream curse. It's the stream curse. But both players are just gonna hopefully try to keep a positive mindset. It's just gotta... I really admire that, like, just keeping going after something happens like this. Just gotta do your best and try to fix things. Try to make up for it. Okay. So yeah, now it is Simon's turn 2. He's going to be able to magic ribbon this turn. See a nest ball really quick.
Yep. Possibly grabbing the Ralts, and this way he can magical ribbon, grab the rare candy Gardevoir if he wants to go down that route. Potentially another Eevee, saying, okay, I just want a second Sylveon setup. Kind of depends what his game plan is for this matchup.
I wonder if he's going to go for the Gardevoir early again. Because I think that was his plan last game. He kind of went and got that Ralts pretty early.
Yeah.
But now he's going to get a second Eevee this time.
Yep. He says, don't worry about shuffling. I'm going right back in. Ricky reaches to start shuffling, and he's like, no, don't worry about it. Let's save some time. I only have 17 minutes, and I'm playing Sylveon. Let's go.
Hopefully 17 minutes is enough to win one game, but we shall see. Sylveon, very slow deck. But the double Sylveon on turn 2 is looking really nice. He gets any 3 cards out of the deck from Magical Ribbon that he so desires.
Yep. Grab some cards. And then it is Ricky's turn.
Yeah, so what do you get off Magical Ribbon? Double Colorless, Enhanced Hammer, Crushing Hammer? I think
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
pretty much the trifecta.
Yep.
Energy removal, more energy removal.
Yep.
But 2 energies on that Buzzwole on the bench, although still not retreating this Lele. It's kind of stuck there. And here we go with the first Crushing Hammer. I think maybe getting a double Crushing Hammer instead of going for the Enhanced might have been a good play. Oh, maybe he already had the other one in his hand. That makes sense. And there's the DCE. It's so beautiful, so gold. Simon's deck is just so pretty.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, we were accidentally muted. I'm so sorry.
We've been talking for the last, like,
We've
2
been
minutes.
saying such insightful comments, and
The insight was real and you all missed out.
I mean, it was probably the best commentary we've done all 2 days, so really sorry you guys missed out on that.
With that, yeah, Simon's definitely, everything is going according to his plan. He really doesn't want Ricky to get set up and actually have energies out, and he's just not letting him have any more than one energy out at a time. And the Sylveon definitely has a little bit of damage on it at this point. Something to be kind of worried about. We're going to see energy to retreat, go back to his back one. We're going to max potion it.
Exactly, yeah, he doesn't want the Sylveon to go down, definitely, this early in the game, for sure.
Take out that energy with the Team Flare Grunt.
Sometimes we do mute the mic intentionally to save from the
comms.
Intercom?
Yeah, the intercom speakers.
Intercom, and also sometimes if like a judge comes up to ask us a question or something like that, we mute the mic and sometimes forget to turn it back on. So yeah. But
yeah, so we will. But yeah, lots of damage being spread. Simon's in a great position at this point. Ricky hasn't really been able to get going just because the energy denial has been very, very real for the entire course of the game. Simon's just executing his game plan exactly how he knows he needs to.
Exactly. No, it's definitely going super well for him, and he is at an advantage at this point. He's able to control the amount of energy coming down on Ricky's side. But here's a max elixir that's crucial. All right, we know there's a lot of energy left in the deck.
Why is it called a double game loss? It could have been called a double game win.
A double game win,
because they both won a game.
I know, that's very true. It just effectively made the series come down to this one game.
Yeah. We're going to smack you for a bunch here. 6, 7, 8. 8 damage, 3 on the back. That front Eevee is starting to hurt a little bit. We'll be able to take this knockout on this Buzzpool if he so chooses.
Simon needs another max potion for this active if he wants to get this damage off.
Yeah. If he has a Crushing Hammer, which it doesn't appear that he does, he could have tried to take off the energy off the back one that is most likely going to get promoted, but Simon doesn't, so he just takes the prizes and says, you know what, I'm okay trading this. Here, 2 prizes for 2 prizes. I'm taking them first.
About to see an N from Ricky. I think he's contemplating it.
He's contemplating the max elixir first.
Oh, he's not even going to play anything, I guess. He's just going to take his 2 prizes there. This Simon's hand.
Simon's hand is actually fine.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's interesting.
He has double Team Flare Grunt. He has the DCE so that we can start attacking.
Yeah, and there goes the strong energy. And he's just... I mean, there's no way that this Sylveon goes down, so...
He has a Counter Catcher.
Probably.
Unfortunately, Counter Catcher isn't live yet.
What?
Yeah, not quite yet. So Ricky checking through his discard here before putting 110 damage on.
Yep.
From Fairy Wind. We'll go for an Ultra
Fairy Wind does a
Ball.
lot of damage.
It does. It's actually a pretty decent attack. Contemplating the discard off this Ultra Ball. Cynthia and N right there. Oh, getting rid of an N is interesting.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that N.
I think he realizes that for Simon in this matchup, he's not going to go on the deck out plan. He can just play the prize game. So that's kind of what Simon's game plan is anyway. So I don't need to worry about saving my ends.
Right. It's interesting the tactic that Simon's choosing to use in both of these games so far. I mean, the last one wasn't completed, but he's definitely opting for taking prizes here. So we'll see how the deck works. Slow down your opponent in the beginning, remove the energy, prevent them from doing anything, and then use Sylveon and Gardevoir to attack because they're not bad. They're not bad.
No, they do hit. They do 2-shot, and when you're running max potions and ace rolls and stuff, you can get away with 2-shotting because they're going to 2-shot you back. So.
They're super beefy. They have really high HP.
200 HP is a lot.
It is. It is a little bit. It's a significant amount. And although Ricky is getting caught up on the energy attachments here.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't looking as good for Simon as it was about 4 or 5 turns ago. Simon just kind of pittered out on his game plan.
Shouldn't be chatting while I'm commentating, but
We got to interact with the Twitch chat a little bit.
all right. So he's gonna promote this Buzzwole, which does now have 2 energies and has had a choice band on it, I believe.
Yeah. I'll get 70 on it because of the Regirock. Simon really needs to find another Pokemon here. Because if he doesn't find another Pokemon, I think the Sylveon's just dead and that's going to be game. And I don't think there's really a way for him to stall out.
Okay, all right. Fun aside. This is a serious game of Pokemon that we're playing here, and that we're watching here and talking about. So this is
It's coming down to a very close game, actually.
Very close, just like the last one. This is a heavily damaged Sylveon. This Sylveon has seen better days.
Yeah.
And Simon,
13.
he's gonna need to do
So
something
it needs
here.
to not take 70 points of damage. It's currently taking 40 from the attack from the Buzzwole. So a fighting, just a choice band is the only thing that'll knock it out. He doesn't have any bench space, so an extra Regirock plus a strong energy doesn't quite do it. Strong energy puts it to 10 HP left. Has to get a choice band. We just saw him field over the 2 choice or some bands
Yes.
off. So there's the potential that Ricky doesn't have it, and Simon is.
He's
says
either
that's what we
banking on
have.
him not having it, or he knows he doesn't have it. So
Yep. And you
shall
actually just
see.
saw, so Simon just Magical Ribbon, and he actually grabbed his one of Hoopa that he has.
he did.
Oh,
and
and it gets
a pass.
Simon's
It's a small
still in
amount
it.
of damage.
Oh,
Well, it's not a pass,
man.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, he
It's 30.
attacked, but he's not dead.
30 damage.
That was a very clutch turn.
This is down to the wire. It's very intense. Both of these games have been just so crazy.
Yes. Oh, man. And then we see Simon now has double puzzle. Ooh, Simon might be able to turn this around. This was looking so grim for him.
It was not looking good. But now, if all this energy can be
He
removed,
says, I want an Eevee, and I want this Crushing Hammer.
Yeah,
We're going to roll this dice and hopefully
It's a
hit
big flip.
another heads. Oh, and it
my
was.
gosh, it's a heads.
Take this damage off. We're gonna Guzma the damaged Buzzwole. We're gonna put this Eevee down. We're gonna put this Hoopa down.
And take a knockout here.
Is he not? He's not opting to Energy Evolution.
Either that or he knows he doesn't have one in, but
Yeah, he just hadn't gotten to it yet. He was
Yeah,
he was looking and just making sure that is something that he was
no
going to do.
Sylveon
I think
in
he
deck?
might not have one.
Is that
'cause
the
I think
rainbow
that's
one?
I think that was the Gardevoir. He has.
I saw a rainbow card, not sure. Yeah, it might have been Guardy.
Okay. He shows him the float stone and says, "It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
I have it anyway."
Well, that was close. He
Yes.
almost had to come back there. He called the wrong attack. Oh, really? Which attack? Magical Ribbon instead of Fairy Wind.